called Tornado, which was developed by Digital Integration of the UK. So I'm just going to play a few games here, and let's just go for, hold on a second. Yeah, okay, so you can see the keystrokes actually appearing on the bottom right hand corner, and that's because this flight simulator is very heavily dependent on keystrokes, not so much the mouse. And I'm not using a joystick, I'm using the keyboard and my mouse mostly. Okay, maybe I want to turn down the music a little bit. Yeah, something like that. Okay, let's see whether we can do this right. Okay, maybe I can turn down the music a little bit. Okay, what should we do right now? Let me see. Okay. Let's see now, 3D simulation amp. Okay. What I really need to do is to just make this thing a little bit bigger. Okay, this is called the Advanced AMP, the Advanced Mission Planner. So back in the days of 1993, this was actually the most advanced mission planner that you could find on any PC. And in fact, the developers, Digital Integration, they actually were commissioned by the RAF to build something like this, because the RAF didn't have anything as sophisticated as what was found in this flight simulator back itself in 1992 or 1993. So Digital Integration in its staff had two great staff. First of all was Kevin Bazant, who is the programmer who wrote about 99% of the 3D simulation engine called Flight Executable. And the second person would be Robert Hayden. Robert Hayden is the one who was responsible for creating this advanced mission planner. So let me see whether I can just show some of it right now, so I can actually zoom in. Now this was in the early days of Windows, and as you can see, it's not smooth, not entirely smooth, but basically it really does the job. And let me see right now. And of course, here you can see the strength of the mission planner itself, where I can actually toggle off the legs, the roads, and etc. But really, its strength lies in planning the multi-plane coordinated missions. Yeah. So let me just show you the flight. No, before the flight plan, let's have a look at the. Let me just turn off some of this extra stuff here. Okay, so straight away right now you can see that this is the mission planner. So let's start from A. A would be the airbase itself. Okay, so here I'm actually zooming in the magnification, and so that's the I can't really pan around with a hand. I can't drag use a hand and move it around like unlike some of the more modern software. But basically I can zoom in and zoom out. And another thing I can do is I can actually click on explore, and what it does is that it will show me a 3D view. Shows me a 3D view of the surroundings, and I can actually I can zoom out, zoom in. Of course, we're talking about 300 by 200 pixel 320 by 200 pixels resolution. Yeah, so I can actually use my keyboard, and as you can see the keys. I'm pressing the equals key, so now I can actually speed up, and I can actually move my mouse, and I can pan around. And basically this is the view of the airfield, of the airbase of which I'm actually taking off from. Okay, so I can actually raise my view a little bit higher, and now you can see I'm sort of like an elevated view here. Now back in 1993 this was cutting edge, and the people who developed the this flight simulator, they actually had a lot of, I think about 10,000 different objects or items, 3D objects in the world itself. So it's quite a big environment, and this is way before Minecraft. Yeah, okay, there's no music, but never mind. So I can actually come down a little bit. Let me just oh sorry, that would be to go forward, so let me just go down a little bit. Hey, hi. Yes, hi Zerger6. Yes, I can yes, I see you in the chat. Are you talking about Discord? Maybe I need to run Discord. Hold on a second, yeah. Hey Zerger6, yes, I recognize you. I recognize your username. Let me go into Discord, yeah. Hold on a second. I'm not receiving you right now because I haven't launched my Discord yet. So let me just go into my Discord right now. Thanks for dropping by. Okay, let me launch my Discord. So you recognize that music, right? The soundtrack brings back nice memories. Okay. Let me go to Tornado, and if I go to the general, I need to go to the general tab. Hold on a second here. Let me just switch over my. Okay, there you go. So right now, if I go to general, and what is this? Okay, so right now I'm the only one there. So if you join into the Discord, then I will be able to chat with you live, yeah. So I'm sure you're already a member of the Discord group. If not, hey, hi Missionary Gamer. Hi, good morning. Revelation 22 verse 21. Okay, as a Christian, I would like to read this verse from the Bible. The grace of the Lord Jesus be with you all. Amen. That's from Revelations chapter 22 verse 21. English Standard Version, I think. Yeah, good to see you, Missionary Gamer. Yeah, hey, hi, hey, Hakim Live, good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, okay, no, just today. Maybe later on, but right now I'm also involved. I was also involved in a project to mod a particular 1993 flight simulator, and it was written in assembly language. So it was something which I started back in 2017, and still continues until today. And so yeah, there's a group of people who actually play this old flight simulator. You know, we're talking about 320 by 200 pixels, and so I just wanted to stream it just to see who would pop up. So I have at least one person who popped up who I recognize in the forums. I didn't code the game. I actually coded about the code is written actually by the UK developer called Digital Integration, and in particularly one person by the name of Kevin Bazant, who was the lead programmer who wrote the 3D simulation engine. And so what I did was I actually got hold of the source code legally, and I let me see now. And basically I was playing the game, and then I decided one day that I wanted to see how I could add more trees, and basically one thing led to the other, and I managed to get the source code and to start a development group. But in the end it didn't quite work out, and so what I did was I decided to just instead of creating a spiritual successor to this 1993 hit flight simulator game, what I did was I started modifying it, starting with just a hello world type of program, and it ended up with I think 197 different modifications. Yeah, let's see now. Hey, hi Yoshi Ost, hi Mishi. Yeah, okay. this game is attracting more viewers. Yeah, I'm not so sure why. I haven't even started playing it yet. Let me just read this, right? Let me just catch up on the chat a little bit here. Yeah, so I actually flunked assembly language in college back in 1991, and I thought I would never ever wanted to have anything to do with programming in machine language and assembly language. Sorry. Okay, Missionary Gamer asked me, dude, any one question for you on this. Why? Okay, because I'm basically a programmer, and I had an interest in flight simulators ever since I was young. And out of all the flight simulators that I own, this is the one that's dearest to my heart, because it's got a lot of features in it that a lot of flight simulators did not have for many years, even until the early 2000s. And on top of it, I also had did 200 over modifications to the source code, and basically I just kept the flight sim alive because it was fun. It was fun, and it's also based on a lot of aviation data. So the source code is written by the head of digital integration, who was David Marshall, the late David Marshall. He was actually I think a RAF engineer. So he made sure that the simulation was very true to real life, using a lot of public domain data. So that's why I'm streaming the Tornado, because I played it quite some time ago, and I also am an active modder of this flight simulator. Yeah. So let's have a look here. Okay, Andy. Who's Andy? Okay. So you're greeting each other. Okay, that's good. Yeah, okay. Hi, Yoshi Ost. And please learn C++ to come and develop with Unreal Engine. Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. I did teach C and C++ in college and in university, and during my lecturing days. And I never really got into Unreal Engine. I think that's where the real graphics is, right? That's where the real challenge is. So you're looking at a dinosaur here, looking at a dinosaur programmer who is still stuck in the 1990s using MASM, Microsoft Assembly Language engine, to compile and link the program, this particular source code. I'm working with x86 ASM assembly language programming, which is easily one of the worst languages in the world, but very powerful as well. Yeah, Mr. Gamer, I must join you in the ARC, right? Yeah, I've watched quite a few of your streams, and I love the ARC graphics. Yeah, and I would love, yeah, it'd be great to join you and share the gospel, study scripture, fellowship, and try not to get eaten by a dino. Yeah, and you sit on the what do you call it, the pterodactyl, and fly around, right? And you get to tame a lot of dinosaurs. So it's a great program, great multiplayer and collaboration. What do you call it? Multi-user program. It's kind of fun. It's an amazing game. There are tons of different dinos. Yeah, it looks like a huge game that you can really explore lots of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, let's see now. That's great. Yeah, and you get to meet people, and you also can, as a Christian, you can actually tell others about the scriptures, about the gospel, and also opportunity to share Christ with those who are willing to, who have an open heart. That's fine. You're just on the first map, and there are 8 more. Oh wow, okay. How did you discover the ARC actually? Yeah, that's okay. It's okay. It's one of those games on Steam, right? Okay. Look squirrel. Look squirrel. That's from Up. That's from the movie Up, by the Pixar movie Up. Squirrel. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so back to the flight simulators. Yeah, so anyway, basically I had the source code, and so I basically this flight simulator, it's well, you either love it or hate it, because the first time I looked at the graphics, I actually was turned off. But then I read a lot of good reviews about the manual, because the manual is actually, hold on a second. So here's the manual actually, and it's 333 pages, I think it is. It's about 333 pages. So back in the good old days when you had the box sets, right? And basically the manuals are paper based, and some of them are as heavy as a, not quite as heavy as a telephone book, but you get the idea. These days it's just CDs. So this was the premier flight simulator back in 1993. Okay, and I still haven't shown you the game yet. Yeah, assembly, if only the ARC was more optimized. Okay, well, these days with what do you call it, high-level APIs and graphics, you don't do things with assembly anymore. It's mostly for systems programming or to optimize hardware, written for hardware, and maybe for, you know, back in the old days when the Pennyworth Tornado, I think software probably was written in assembly because they use floppy disks inside the cockpit of the Tornado itself. You can optimize it, just turn down the settings. Okay, so what should I do right now? You want to run it on your Game Boy. Okay, I'm not so sure what's the context of this, but these days, you know, there's so many different programming environments. You've got the Pico 8 also, you know, a lot of guys are doing Pico 8 programming retro games on the Pico 8, and of course, well, I mean, if you talk about games on Steam, you're talking about Unity and all that kind of stuff. And Unreal, sorry. One thing really appreciate Unreal, you can adjust all those settings depending on your system you're using, but not Game Boy. Okay, I don't know much about what do you call it, console gaming. Yeah, I sort of missed out on that aspect of gaming. You know, with the Sega machine and all that kind of stuff, Nintendo, Game Boys and whatnot. Okay, so you're planning on embedding those retro games into Scattered Wisdom. Okay, so you can have both. Yeah, okay. Right. So anyway, we're looking at my Discord channel of the Tornado, the Tornado Discord. If you do exclaim Discord, you're actually going to get my Durian Defense Discord. So I can put a link to the Discord here. If anybody wants to join, you can always have a chat with me. Let me see whether I have that right now. Where did I put it? Okay, just give me a moment, yeah? Hold on a second. This is the Dogs of War forum that I have, where I have a what do you call it, a forum on the Tornado modding itself. So if you look at the logo here, there's the Dogs of War logo there. Sorry, you can't really see it, but let me just go back to the forum here. So let me just put a link in the chat here right now. What did I just do? Hold on a second. Chat. Okay, I'm all thumbs today. Okay, so basically that's a link there to dogsofwarvu.com. It's mostly about war gaming and video games related to war. And you know, if you look at the logo there, you've got a Abrams tank, heavy tank Abrams M1 tank, and one of the games that they first started off in dogsofwarvu.com was called Steel Beasts. It's a very expensive military simulation game. Uses a dongle or so for copy protection. So anyway, if we are right now, the link that I've just posted on the chat group, that's the link to the forum. And here you can find there's a Tornado forum there. This little guy here, right? So basically, yeah, hold on a second. I'm looking for the Discord link which I posted here. So basically, maybe just briefly mention this part. This is a modding Tornado thread, and I think there's about 7 pages of it. And basically what I've done is, over the years, 196 mods. Last mod was in January 2022. Well, when I say mod, I'm just talking about basic modifications to the game, different aspects, mostly dealing with the visual aspect of the game. And here's a bit of a chronology, or maybe a diary of the changes that I've done. And I think about 80% of it is on the visuals itself, the external view itself. So if I scroll right down, you can see there's a little kind of like a diary of every single change that I've made to the code. And I started off back in 2017. I started off with the Hello World code. So that was my very first code, where I just put my name Frankie at the bottom there. Maybe it's a bit hard to see, but you can see the word Frankie right there. Yeah, so that was my first equivalent of a Hello World program. And basically I just added stuff and I just tinkered around the code, and eventually one thing led to the other. I kept on changing it, kept on putting enhancements to the original game. and so ended up with I think 196 mods. Yeah, ended up with 196 mods, and basically again mostly to do with the external view itself and stuff like this, where I actually put in different elements of the game and into different views of the game. I took existing views of the cockpit and then I sort of superimposed them onto the external view. So these are all these are examples of the modifications that I did. And after I'll just run through, just do a live demo of this game itself. Yeah, so you can see this is the 3D simulation engine. It's actually an animated GIF, and so I put in a clock there as well. Okay, so anyway, let me not digress here. Let me just go to the Discord channel if anybody wants to chat. Otherwise, it's fine. Let me just click on this link. So basically, in the forum, I just made an announcement that I will be on Twitch around this time. So there is a Discord channel. Discord. Just give me a moment here. Sorry for the text; it's kind of small. Yeah. Hopefully, you won't have to squint your eyes too much. So let me just post this. Post the Discord chat link there. Okay. And let me just catch up on the chat here a little bit. Okay. Oh look, my coffee is almost empty. Yes. Okay. As a Christian, I'd like to read the gospel message as well. And let me read this. Gospel means the good news. The bad news is that we all have sinned and deserve the wrath of come. But Jesus the Messiah died for our sins, was buried, and then raised on the third day according to the scriptures. He ascended to heaven and right now is seated at the Father's right hand. Jesus said, "I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. The time is fulfilled and the kingdom of God is at hand. Repent and believe in the gospel." Yeah, that's right. So that's the gospel message in a nutshell. And for myself, Jesus Christ is my Lord, my Savior. And I know for certain that one day if I were to die, be it COVID or old age or whatever it is, sudden death, I know that I'll be in heaven with God. I have that deep assurance, and it's not because of anything that I've done. It's not because of my good works, but it's because of the grace of God that I've been given this free gift of eternal life to be with God in heaven one day. It's not just that, but it's also that Jesus talked about having eternal life, and it's not just being in heaven, but also right now on earth here, I can have a relationship with a loving God, and also I can not just be a better person, but also I can actually be a friend of God, and also I can experience God's blessing on my life, and also can be a blessing to others as well. Okay, let's read on a little bit more. Yoshi OST. How do you pronounce your name? Yoshi, right? What did this game run on at first? Was it a PC game? Yes, it was actually written for the PC, and later on they ported it over to the Amiga. But Amiga wasn't as powerful as the PC back then, so you needed a certain amount of a high-end Amiga in order for the program to run well. Yeah, so that's the Discord channel there. Okay, so what I do right now? Yeah, so that's a little bit about that, and let me just. I can play the game, but there are a lot of elements to the game because it's not easy to find a Panavia Tornadoes flight simulator these days that's got all kinds of elements, from the strategic element to the actual flight simulation itself to the mission planning, etc. Now, I must forewarn you that the graphics are 1993, right, and they're pretty bland by today's standards, obviously. And but if you like pixel graphics, then maybe you wouldn't balk at the graphics. But these days we are spoiled silly with realistic graphics. It's kind of funny, back in the 90s, right, in the early 90s, or even in the late 80s, when flight simulators first came out, a major part of enjoying the games, not just flight simulator games, but any of those games of that era, was actually the major part was the gamer's imagination. And so, in a gamer, you read the manual, right? And most of the manuals, they were, especially the microprose manuals, they were fully illustrated, right, with a lot of stories and a lot of pictures inside them. And so, coupled with the gamer's imagination and the pixelated graphics of that day, they all combined to become some kind of fusion of an experience of the game itself. And so every simulation before the advent of the graphics card, they were to be enjoyed by the gamer partly because of the gamer's imagination as well. So the human's imagination sort of fill in all the gaps But slowly as time went by and graphic cards became cheaper and pieces became more powerful and the processing power became better, and so the graphics became more and more realistic from polygons. From polygons went on to become bitmap graphics, I believe, and then of course you had the Voodoo graphics card back then, and followed by the NVIDIA cards. So as the flight simulators become more detailed and more realistic, something was lost in between. Of course, the purists would say that they prefer to play something that's realistic, but back in the 80s and the 90s, people could still enjoy those games, the pixelated games, because of the they didn't know better, and they weren't as spoiled as we are today, and so they were able to enjoy any game even with the bland graphics, because they would couple the graphics with their own imagination. Hey, hi, vegan. Didn't know you played flight simulators. I thought you only played chess. Well, in terms of expertise, yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, I played chess most of my life, but also I did have a love for flight simulators. I had a fascination actually for flight simulator games, and perhaps you could say that if that was true right until now, then I would probably have a very fantastic rig running Microsoft Flight Simulator, the latest flight simulator from Microsoft, together with all the expensive elevator, what do you call it, the joystick and those footwear, hardware stuff, where the pedals, elevator pedals or whatever. But I don't. So anyway, I don't. I think it's because my machines couldn't, my laptop or my desktop couldn't handle the demands of the latest programs, flight simulator programs. But basically, I started playing flight simulator programs back in the late 80s until maybe about the early 2000s. So where am I right now? Okay, so anyway, let me just try to go back to the game itself. Yeah, so I'm not sure whether Zerger is still around, but anyway, if you want to drop by the Discord, you're most welcome to. Otherwise, it's okay. Zerger 6, yeah. Okay. Otherwise, the music's playing in the background. Okay, so basically, this here is the map itself. I'm sorry, yeah, the map of the world itself. For this particular mission, and I can click on the fit button. And basically, back in 1993, this was real cutting edge. As you can see, it contains all the elements of a detailed mission planner. Not only do you have the route, the flight plan itself, but you also have got the various keys and toggles. Yeah, I've also got a target finder, right? So I can, for example, I can look for a military target. And the class of the object is the military, and under the class military you've got the various types. And so when I click that, let me just remove some of these clutter so that you can actually see a little bit better. So if I were to do this water tower, you can see it's all identified. So back then, this was cutting edge, so camouflage site, etc. And I can actually zoom in a little bit more, and it's a very powerful mission planner, something that RAF didn't have. But its real power comes when you actually can plan a multi-plane coordinated strike that uses different waypoints, as well as different waypoints, and can actually plan or you can coordinate an attack from two different approaches, two different directions to the target, and both of them can arrive at a synchronized time and space, right down to the last second itself. So the amount of programming that's involved in this is stupendous, and the guy who wrote this his name is Robin Hayden. After leaving digital integration, he went on to work for Microprose, and he coded the dynamic campaign of Falcon 4. After Falcon 3 was Falcon 4, wasn't it? Falcon 4, yeah, that's right. So yeah, so basically this is some of the elements of the mission planner itself. And then you've got the briefing, or let me just go systematically from the top. You've got the point data as well. So point data, basically it follows where the cursor is, and it identifies whatever objects are being highlighted, or if I mouse over on an object, it will show you what the object is. So that's hold on a second, that's a camouflage site there. Yeah, so let me just click on that. And if you want to see what it looks like in the graphics itself, I can just basically go to the explore, and I'm going to press the enter key. let's see now, where is it? So I can pan around with the mouse. So this is a 3D world. That's long before we had Minecraft. So I think the camouflage site is right below me, if I'm not mistaken. I kind of lost it. Okay, hold on a second. So let me just get out of here. Control Q. Yeah, so you can actually transit from the map itself, mission planner map itself, to a 3D world. And so this is some of the elements of the advanced mission planner, the AMP itself. And let me just try to get to the briefing itself. So here's the briefing. So I'm supposed to take off with one aircraft from airfield number 4. Target X, Waypoint X is a mission store. Waypoint Y is a rail bridge, and then you've got weapons, the 1,000 pounder retarded bomb, X and Y. And I think with the retarded bombs, you don't really need to fly at 1,000 feet to avoid the blast of the ordinances, but because it's retarded, so it basically slows down the bomb, so you can fly further and not be affected by the bomb blast itself. Takeoff time 9 p.m. Excuse me, 9 a.m. Had a heavy dinner. Flight time 20 minutes and visibility is clear. So basically this is the description. So this Tornado is full of missions. This the practice missions as well as the actual mini missions, and then you've got the full-blown campaign, dynamic campaign. So it was quite a package back then, and you couldn't really play this game, this flight simulator game, in 3 months. You probably take you about a few years to complete everything. I never really completed the campaign. Let me just check the chat here for a while. Right? Let me just digress a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry, we're not looking at the right screen here. Let me change it to this one. Okay, that's a little bit better right now. Sorry, we're looking at the wrong scene just now. So right now it's a little bit bigger, yeah? Let me just check this now. Is the Tornado Sim source open now? It is on GitHub right now. Yeah, it is on GitHub right now. And is it really open source? It's a hard one to answer that, because it's not really open source, but neither is it. It's a bit hard for me to explain that one. Well, it's in GitHub right now. That's all I can say at this point of time. Okay, hold on a second. Have you ever played World of Warships? No, I've not played World of Warships. Okay, Mission Gamer is left. Okay, thanks for dropping by, Mission Gamer. If you're watching this, yeah, thanks a lot for the encouragement. Now, I've not played World of Warships, World of Tanks as well, but the graphics are fantastic, right? Okay, let me have a look here. No mic today. Glad to be in spirit. Oh, it's okay, Zerger6. Thanks. Okay, no problem. Thanks for dropping by, Zerger6. Never mind, but Mike, it's okay. Yeah. So here you got the briefing. Let me just continue on. If I played Sky on Fire 1940, I'm not sure. Sky Fighters, yes, I played Sky Fighters. Is that the same game, Sky on Fire? Or is Sky on Fire some kind of alternate reality kind of thing, like some kind of science fiction thing based on history of? I can't remember. No, I don't really think so. I've not played Sky on Fire 1940. And so here you've got a flight plan. So let me just jump back to the to here, and let's click on tidy. Fit, sorry. Let me click on fit, go back to the keys, and then I click on flight plan. So basically this is the flight plan itself, and consists of, I think, up to 16, is it? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. Yeah, up to 16 different waypoints. And so A is the starting point, followed by B, and in between I can actually insert or delete the waypoint. Yeah. Okay, let me just check now. No, it's on Play Store. Check it for Great Low Poly Flight Simulator one-man development shop. Okay. Okay, I have to look at that. Okay, let's just give me a moment, yeah? Sky on Fire. Let me just see whether I can have a quick look at that. So just check my laptop. Sky on Fire. Okay. Oh wow, that looks interesting. That really looks interesting. It's a World War II simulation. Oh, I've never seen this one before. I didn't even realize this existed. Oh, it's on the app, right? So basically, okay, let me have a look at that. Oh, this is nice. Oh, okay. It's like a cross between polygons as well as bitmaps. Yeah, well, a little bit low res, but it looks quite interesting, quite nice. So interesting mix of graphics, and it's not overly detailed. Of course, it's arcade based, right? Because of the pipper, I can see the little pipper there, and it's arcade based, but it's got this hitting points and a lot of calculated damage control. Yeah, and then you got that little help there, the helper sight. So this is the first time I'm looking at this. Okay, I can fly from the cockpit as well. Okay, lovely low poly graphics. Yeah, that's right. Do you think it's possible, Yoshi Oist, do you think it's possible to do a widescreen mod of this game? Yes, I've done a widescreen mod actually. Oh, widescreen mod, you mean like so they can cover 2 or 3 monitors? I think somebody did that for the flight simulator, the first flight simulator. It wasn't by Microsoft. It was by another. The first flight simulator was by the history. If you look through the history of Microsoft Flight Simulator, is written by another company early on, and somebody actually wrote a mod so that you could actually fly the I think Flight Simulator 2 or 3 using 2 or 3 different monitors. It's somewhere on the net. It's on the net. Yeah, can fly from the cockpit, can enjoy. Yeah. So let me just come back to the game itself. Yeah, so let me just go back to the amp here. Okay, so here, right, I've got the different waypoints, and then if I go to double click on A, for example, that shows me the waypoint and then tells me what type is it, and there's a time as well. You can actually set the time, and one could actually spend hours, you know, not even flying the mission, just planning the mission itself using the AMP, Advanced Mission Planner. They would spend hours tweaking it because every mission comes with the preset waypoints, but you could actually take advantage of the terrain. You could actually change the waypoints or the whole flight plan itself, and not just your own flight plan, but even your what do you call it, the other flights, the other tornadoes in the same squadron, right? You could actually change the entire flight plan for any one of those pilots as well. And so here, these are just basically turning points. C is also a turning point, and each turning point you also have got the knots, yeah, the speed of the knots to reach once you reach the waypoint. For example, waypoint C, you would the autopilot would switch over to 420 knots. Oh, I'm sorry, I think you had to manually change it to 420 knots. Yeah, you actually manually increase the throttle there. And so if you kept to this knots, the speed, right, for each waypoint, and basically you end up at the for example, target X, right? This is the target waypoint itself, and you can see that that's the target X. Okay, where's the target? It's a bit hard to see right now. I need to zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so that's a waypoint target X there. Yeah, okay, here we go. So that's target X. You can see that it looks a bit hard to see, but basically that's an X there. Yeah, so that's the hardened munition storage target for this particular mission, and you would target it with the 1000 retard bombs, or you could actually change the weapons themselves if you wanted to. And here you see there's a lot of checking. For example, the code will check that if you're flying at 200 feet and you're going to release a 1000 pounder, you're going to get hit by the blast. So it's too low. Altitude X of 200 feet is too low for you to be using a 1000 pounder. So if you chose a 1000 pound retarded bomb, then it's just fine. And this delivery, you got lay down, basically just hitting the commit button, and then as long as you have the commit button pressed, and therefore you would actually release. Yeah, sorry to steal your thunder, Frankie Tornado Rules. No, it's okay, no problem. It's not about thunder or anything. It's I think Zergus 6, what you introduced to me is something that I've never seen before. It's worth checking. I mean, there are a lot of new releases coming up. For example, you've got the Harrier simulation, right, coming up. I think that is what's the name for it? TC. Okay, I forgot. There's a Harrier simulator coming up, which is patterned after the A10 Cuba game. and then you've got the a lot of other low polygon helicopter sims. So it's good to know about new stuff, right? I mean, in the world of gaming, we sort of open our eyes to a lot of things because it helps to make us more creative, and then you can learn from the best. So basically, I would love to check out the Skyfire on 1940 later on. Yeah, no problem. So that's the waypoint there, and basically you can change all this, the heights, and if you were to engage the autopilot, and this flight simulator has got, I think, 6 different autopilots, I believe, 6 or 7 different autopilots, including the autopilot to land the plane automatically, the jet automatically. So back in 1993, there was no flight simulator that had up to 6 or 7 autopilot modes. And even after the game was superseded by later generations of different flight simulators by the same company, for example, digital integration went on to create the Apache flight simulator using 32-bit, I think 32-bit coding using C++. So they moved away from assembly language, and basically, even after different generations of programming of flight simulator games, a lot of the elements of this mission planner was not implemented in other flight simulators because it's just too complex. The code is just too complex. So Robin Hayden, who wrote this, was and is an absolute genius. Yeah. And so after the waypoint X, which is the target waypoint, we got another turning waypoint, initial point for Y. Y, G, H, I, J, K. I think the Y is X, Y, Z. So basically, in this game, you've got three target waypoints aptly named X, Y, Z. Yeah. So for Y, right, I'm just gonna go to explore mode, and again, I'm gonna show you some of the blend graphics, right, from looking down a 2D topology view. Basically, this is the, I think, is that the river, and basically this you can see this is basically the bridge. So let me just go up a little bit. So now you can see that I'm just traversing right through. Hold on a second, and let me just back up a little bit. Yeah, so basically that's the bridge, and I'm controlling the movement in the 3D world using my mouse. So we haven't even looked at the tornado, but basically you're looking at waypoint target Y, which is a span bridge. Yeah. And bear in mind, again, in 1993, the graphics were fantastic for the day. Maybe Amiga graphics were better than PC graphics, but this simulation, in terms of number of objects created in the 3D world, I think there were about more than 10,000 objects, which is quite a lot back then. And back in this day, you had also Microprose being the king of flight simulators. They had the Falcon 3, and then you had the what else? F-14 Fleet Defender as well. So these are some of the there's so many flight simulators you can talk about, right? TFX is another one by Digital Image Design, EF 2000, etc. So many. So anyway, so basically what I've done is I can actually transition between the 2D world, which is the map itself, and I'm just pressing the equal button to increase my speed, and basically yeah. So a lot of this this 3D world was actually designed by David Marshall, also the head of digital integration. Later on, he after he left the digital integration and he stopped working in games design, he actually dabbled into what do you call it, designing the 3D worlds for a lot of the I think it was Explain, or was it the Microsoft Flight Simulator? I'm not too sure. Okay, let me get back to the mission planner now. So still haven't taken off, right? So basically that's the gist of the mission planner, but there's a lot of other stuff in it. Let me just click fit, and I can also hit on the AAA. So here you can see that this shows you, right, the reach of the AAA in this mission. So if you were flying, right, the tornado, and you passed a waypoint X, you will actually be in range of the AAA. And also there's the early warning radar coverage of the enemy, and the orange radius sections is of course the detection zones of the early warning radar by the enemy. It's actually this simulation is not so much historical as more of a fictional scenario, because they just call them the orange group and the blue group. Okay, it was basically nation agnostic, and it's just some in a fictitious world. But of course later on they did come up with the Operation what do you call it, Operation Desert Storm add-on, which was based on Operation Desert Storm itself. But back in 1989, when they first started writing the simulation itself and writing Tornado, it was all based on the European scenario, where you had NATO, you had the Warsaw Pact at odds with one another, and the Tornado was well suited to the environment of flying in mountainous areas in Germany, especially in Germany and in Europe. Yeah. So if I click this, then you can see the overlapping of the sections. So there's a lot of strategic elements here, and you can also make use of the terrain. So if I were to click on the contours here, so one of the things that would influence the planning would be sneaking up to the attack zone or the attack waypoint by being shielded by these mountains here. So that's why I mentioned early on that many gamers who played this simulation, it's not just a game, it's a flight simulator and also a strategic simulation game thing. They would actually spend hours on the mission planning itself, and then for a mission that actually lasted maybe about 20 minutes, they could spend up to 2 hours or 3 hours just planning the thing. So unfortunately, this Tornado by Digital Integration did not come with a flight recorder or a mission recorder, something like the Red Baron by Dynamics in 1991. The game Red Baron, it had a mission recorder, so you can actually play back the mission and relive the different moments of the flight simulator itself. So this one did not. Tornado unfortunately did not have the mission recorder. But anyway, suffice to say that this itself was a game in itself. The mission planning itself was a game. Now, if you can see, right, this mission itself is a single flight mission because there's only one aircraft involved. But if I were to open up a mission that consists of a multi-plane coordinated attack, then you would have 6 of these circuits, 6 of these flight paths, and you could actually manage each one of them. Let me just check up on the chat here. Yeah, okay. So you can actually control and change every element of the flight plan itself, and you could bypass or rather override the official flight path. Because why would you want to do that? It's because there are times when you wanted to take advantage of the terrain to mask your entry, your egress and egress, your incoming, your route towards the target and your route away from the target. You can actually use the terrain to hide from the radar, or to hide from any dangers of the surface air missiles. Okay, so you also have got the payload itself. So here in the payload, right, for this particular mission, if I wanted to add more alarms, I could. Now let me just click on the packages here. Starting from left, you got the fuel itself in pounds, and then you've got the packages. So for X package, which is the ammunition dump target, we're looking at using 1,000 pounder retarded bombs. Yeah, and then I can see that for Y, also two 1,000 retarded bombs for the span bridge. And then I also have got space for 2 other alarms. You see, I got 4 alarms. ALARMS basically is anti-radiation missiles, air to ground targets weapon to take out the surface air missiles and whatever enemy missile systems exist on the ground. So I've got 4 alarms. So actually, it's best I could have another 2 more alarms so that I could have 6 missiles to fire against any impending SAM targets, surface air targets. And I don't really need the AIM-9L air-to-air missiles, because the Tornado, this particular GR1, is basically a fighter bomber, a air-to-ground attack. So by removing the air-to-air missiles, I can actually add in where is that? Add in another alarm. How did I do that? There you go. Now we've got a point, a drop, what do you call it? A point, weapon point, where I can now add in 2 more alarms. And so basically this weapons management, and Tornado does it very, very well with all these drop points where they actually can be, you can actually add a weapon, or you may not add a weapon, because in some cases a weapon has already been loaded in that particular hard point there. Yeah, so these are all the ordinances that this flight simulator simulated. And there's also an airfield stock. There's some kind of inventory going on when it just comes in handy when you talk about an ongoing campaign where there's a war of attrition, and where you lose planes, and you also lose resources as the conflict drags on itself. Oh, now I clicked standard, so I'm back to that. Let me just do that again. Yeah, okay, I saw something in chat. Hold on a second. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting rid of the air-to-air missile right now, so let me just put in the anti-radiation missile. Now I've got 6, so I'm quite happy with this right now. Okay, so therefore I'll change the weapon payload. Yeah, okay, thanks Zorga6 for dropping by. Got to go too. Glad you're still at it, Frankie. Cheers, mate. Well, I'm only on it once every few months into 2022. This is just for fun, yeah. So thanks for dropping by. Can I record this? Yes, actually it's recorded. If you come back after the stream, right, you'll see there's a VOD, a video on demand. So you can actually play back to see what you missed. So no problem. You can always, there's always the video available, something like a Zoom recording. But it's not a Zoom recording, it's basically a Twitch recording of this session. Yeah, so thanks for dropping by. I appreciate it. Okay, so just keep in touch. Yeah, so now you know what I look like. Okay, so see you then. Cheers, man. Adios. So where were we right now? Okay, so so that's a lot of action here with the mission planner itself, and of course you can also have a CAP. You can see there's the enemy combat air patrol there, right? And so you want to avoid, in your flight plan, you may want to avoid these sections. There's an AWACS. The enemy also has got AWACS, and so do you. And you have your own CAP, but unfortunately most of the friendly planes aren't really intelligent at all. Yeah. So they're just drones, and there are a lot of limitations to the program as well, because don't forget it was written in 16-bit assembly language, making use of conventional memory. So the EXE program itself, the flight EXE program, which is basically the 3D simulation engine, it's about 580 KB. Can you believe that? Less than 1 megabyte. And it had to be, because it had the whole program, including the menu system and the AMP itself. Everything had to load in within the 640 kilobyte conventional memory of the PC of the day. And of course later on in digital integration, they wrote their code in C++, where you actually could access up to 32 megabytes of memory, I think it was. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so so with that, let me just click on the takeoff button. Okay, let me just change the scene here, because the scene is kind of they changed it to 3D simulation. Okay, there you go. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the program, the simulation itself. So many things. Where do we start? Basically, this is the cockpit view, and then I can click over to the page up. That's the navigator's view, right? And the navigator's view, you've got different TV tab displays, right? You got a left tab and the right tab as well. This is actually something that I modded, which is basically the what do you call it? Okay, that's a bit of a bug there. I just realized. Full screen kind of view there. Yeah. So you've also got this multi-functioning display as well. So all this model was written by the developers. Model after the actual Tornado. Of course the dimensions are different. If a real Tornado, the dimensions don't look like this, but the developers had to take certain liberties with the design, because they had to fit everything to the rectangular screen of a PC monitor. So the dimensions are a little bit off, but basically the functionality is pretty much the same. And somewhere on my Dogs of War forum, I also have got another post where I actually can click on any of these objects, right, and it will show you the actual real life object, what it actually looks like, the 3D object. So they did a pretty good job in modeling most of the instrumentation. Sorry, back to the game. So HUD wise, I'm just basically just changing the HUD, and I can also Shift D, I can go to the full screen view. This particular full screen view, right, which wasn't in the actual game itself. Okay, hold on a second here. Let me just move that window a little bit out of the way. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. So this 3D view was not in the actual game itself, and it took me about 3 months to modify the code to do this. So okay, so let me just go back. That's the cockpit view there, and of course the pilot himself could change the multifunctioning display. Now almost everything that you see here, right, is pretty accurate when you compare with the actual 3D component, the actual component of the real life tornado, right down to the all these levers and buttons and all that. Yeah, even this compass, I forgot what's the name of this guy. And then you've got the fuel, engine thrust readers. You've got another weapons indicator here, and even this flats and slats position indicator, also very accurate to what the actual thing looks like. And if I can find a link to that post, I can show it to you, but probably another time. Okay, so an external view. Now external view is where the graphics is nothing to shout about even in 1998, yeah, because by you see the 3D simulation, the 3D engine itself was written back in 1989, and the program came out in excuse me, Tornado was released in 1993. So by the time the simulation itself was ready for release to be sold in game boxes, right, the code was already outdated by more than 2 or 3 years. So any flight simulator that came out after Tornado already had better graphics than it did. But why did it take so long for the developer to create this game? It's because it's huge. This flight simulator is huge, and it was modeled after aeronautical data of the Tornado that's available available back then, and also because of the 3D objects that needed to be created for the program itself, and then you got an advanced mission planner. So it was an amazing, quite a fantastic undertaking by the development team. Okay, so some of the things that I did was actually, in the actual game itself, you couldn't elevate the view in discrete manner that I'm doing right now, because if you hit the F1 key, it will either go up like 20 feet and down by 20 feet, and you are fixed to these two vertical views. So what I did was actually by hitting F1 and control and alternate F1, I can actually rotate or elevate up and down. That's too much. Elevate up and down the view, change the view. There's a bit of an error in the code there, because it goes past a particular boundary, pop, it hit the heavens. And then you've also got okay, so basically most of these external views I sort of modified it. And let's start by going back to here. Maybe I'll go full thrust. Okay, hope you can hear the audio fine. There's no music because I cut out the music, so I'm going to hit the brakes because the thrust, engine thrust, both of them are hitting 100 already. So now I think this is knots, isn't it? Yeah, so when I hit about close to 200 knots, I'm going to start lifting up. Now, I'm not the best pilot, obviously. I'm not a pilot in real life, just an armchair pilot. So now I'm lifting up, and I need to get the gear up. The gears up. Okay, I'm going to hit the F7 key, which is the autopilot, and then I need to hit the Q and the S because the Tornado itself is a variable sweep wing plane, and depending on the speed that you're flying at, if you exceed certain speed limits and your angle of your wings are maybe at the largest angle, 67 degrees, for example, variable wing position, then you can actually damage the wing itself. Okay. Now, one thing you notice about this simulator is it doesn't have a shadow, which is a bit unfortunate because it never had a shadow. And to this day, even after 200 mods, 197 mods, I can't add a shadow to this game because it's just too complicated, just too difficult for me to do so. Okay, so this is basically part of the actual game itself, yeah, obviously, because 90% of the code was written by Kevin Vincent. I just came in and decided to poke around and tinker around with the code itself. And I always had this philosophy, hey, I wonder what this code does. You know, what happens if I change this value? What happens if I change that value? And so I used a lot of trial and error. And what you're looking at right now is the tornado flying through the 3D environment. It's flying at indicated airspeed of 720 knots. Actually, I'm exceeding the number of the speed for each waypoint. And right now, if I hit the this key here, the square bracket there, shows you the waypoints of the flight path itself. And right now, the little dot that's moving towards the D, that's the airplane itself. So right now, I'm going towards the D waypoint. And this all modded, right? This there's the multifunctioning display on the top left hand corner there, and this is the superimposed flight route. And if you look at the bottom right here, you've got what's this? You've got this waypoint counter. So I'm 33 seconds away from the waypoint D. So it tells me which waypoint I'm working towards, and how many seconds it'll take me to reach that waypoint before we start turning to the next waypoint. So I did this because previously, right, you could only tell what waypoint you were by going to the navigator's view. So here I can see that I'm right now, how does it tell me? I'm sorry, there you go. So right now I'm on this AFDS mode, this autopilot mode. I'm heading towards the waypoint D itself. Robson. Hey, Robson325i, do you think it's possible to port this game to Super VGA? It's almost impossible because every single aspect of the game itself is dependent on the, it's hard-coded to the coordinates of the 300 by 200 pixel real estate itself. So to port this over to Super VGA, where you probably have what, 1024 by, I don't know what, 7668, which would mean a total rewrite of everything from this cockpit, this navigator cockpit that you're seeing, to the pilot's cockpit itself. Every single pixel, every single location where the dials are moving is all based on the 300 by 200 coordinates. So you can imagine the amount of work needed if you were to do a rewrite. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible with today's technology, with, of course, with the whether it's Unity or Unreal engine, it can be done. But the thing you would like to ask yourself is why is it that in DCS, right, there's no real, there's no bona fide tornado module until now. Heatblur has come up with the, what do you call it? Heatblur has come up with the Tomcat, F-14 Tomcat simulator, which has been well received and fantastic actually. And that's a multiplayer, I'm sorry, that's a multi-crew variable wing fighter bomber. So it's similar to Tornado. But until today, there's no DCS Tornado. There's a DCS Apache coming up. Yeah, I'm sure you're looking forward to that. But there you go. So no one's really modeled it. But of course, there are other simulations like, off my head, I can't remember. There are quite a few written for X-Plane already, and some good ones by Just Flight is one, a UK company. They've written for the PSD environment. They've written Tornado modules. Add-ons, which is pretty good. And also you've got I forgot the name of the one for X-Plane that's written about a few years back, which is also very good. Yeah, so anyway, so basically where am I right now? Okay, I'm heading towards X right now. So I actually didn't follow the plan, but let me just activate the okay, now I've got the, what do you call it, call up the weapons display there, and I'm 29 seconds away from the target. So I'm in lay down mode, and let me just click to here. Yeah, there you go. I've got a view of, this is a view of my plane. That's my plane there. Okay, and a view of the target itself. So I'm about 10 seconds away. I'm going to press the spacebar key down, and you're going to see that the retarder bomb is going to release. Now this is modded, right? This is a split screen, is modded by myself. So I'm just going to go to the back view. There you go, boom. So that's the extent of the special effects. Sorry to disappoint you, but basically if you expected a bigger explosion, not enough resources, not enough memory to do that. But the game was, the code was so robust that and in the original game in 1993 until about 1996, right? This was never part of the game. This is just the part of the modded work that I did, the split screen thing. But the code was robust enough to allow this to happen. Now basically I've got a SAM coming in. SAM just hit me, yeah. And there's another SAM incoming, so I better release the flares, and so that the okay, now this one is the view of the SAM towards my plane, and basically that's also a modded, something that was added on later on by myself. And later on, when you fly through, if I fly through the SAM infested parts of the world, you see the window at the top left there. That's actually a view of the missile lifting off and heading towards me, intending to bring me down. Yeah, but right now there's no SAM happening, so even that also I can sort of adjust the view. So now I'm trying to hit the warning view, but obviously there's some damage done to my plane. So you can see that in DI's Tornado, they actually model the damage modeling damage modeling or damage management pretty well. So if you read the book called Tornado Down by the two Johns, John Nicole and John Peters, they spoke about a time where they were hit by a surface-to-air missile in Iraq on the first day of Operation Desert Storm, and their plane was engulfed in fire. It became basically a fireball. And what they described in the book was that the panel was lighted up like a Christmas tree. So here you can see that the Christmas tree effect is there, true to life. Okay, there you see the missile was launched towards me, but it's going to fly overhead. And all this right now, the height of the plane is controlled by the autopilot, right? By the terrain following TFR, terrain following radar, which Tornado is famous for. So this simulator actually had the TFR model pretty well. So I'm hit, and basically this is the end of me. I'm dead basically, because all controls are gone, and the mission is going to end pretty soon by I'm going to go hit the ground and go into a rotation of death. Okay, so let me try to see whether view 1, view 2. So the different subviews are something that I added on later on in the game over the last few years, and mostly based on my own creativity and my own inventiveness, I suppose. Yeah. So there's so many parts of the game I'm not going through systematically, but basically you get an idea of what the 3D world looks like, and that's the end of it. There's a KO at the bottom right hand corner there. KO stands for knockout. Yeah. So basically it goes into rotation of death, because there isn't really a death. That's the death. That's basically the death seed there. And so the game actually comes up with a report, right? It tells me, it gives a pilot debrief there, and it shows me that here this was a target waypoint X, the ammunition store, which I actually destroyed there. And so the music happens, and basically I can actually click on OK, or I can click on cancel. So I try clicking on cancel. Yeah, so as you can see, there are what, 18 different tell you what, let me just start from the overview here. This flight simulator is so complex, right, that it had a simulator within a simulator. That's the basically you're practicing on a simulator, which is pretty much the same 3D environment as well, but basically you're doing free flight all the way to practicing the different aspects of the simulation. And before going to the campaign, you would have to do all this. You can actually make the enemy active or inactive in the simulator. Also change the time of the mission itself, which is nice. And then you got the training itself. I don't see what's the difference between the training and the simulator, but maybe the training you can actually kill yourself, I suppose. Then you had a combat, and then it was divided into the mission, 2-player command level and the campaign level. And I think the most complex was the command level, where you actually act as the command squadron commander, where you actually were to design or craft 6-plane coordinated strikes against the enemy. Missions, of course, you had a whole plethora of missions. For example, you had in this simulation, together with the Operation Desert Storm war zone, you had altogether 1, 2, 3, 4 war zones. The first 3 were European themed war zones, and the 4th war zone came out in 1996 with the Operation Desert Storm add-on, again by digital integration. Yeah, so this was another 20 missions, 18 scripted, and then 2 of them are free fire. Basically, you could do whatever you wanted to. One with the IDS, interdictory strike version of the Tornado. The other would be the ADV or the F3 fighter, the what they call it, the fighter version of the Tornado. Yeah, but this was, of course, would be the Desert Storm theater, where the colors are now desert colors, and you fly in a desert environment as well. Now, the Operation Desert Storm, I just want to mention, I was not able to mod because we don't have the source code for that. Source code's been lost. Source code not available. Maybe there could be a possibility of source code being in one of the developers' Amiga computers that have not been switched on for more than 25 years. Because I did contact one of the developers, and he did say he had something like that, but until now, there's no news. So maybe one day the actual source code of the Operation Desert Storm will appear. So let me just check the chat right now. Okay, not much activity, that's fine, that's okay. Yeah. And so the Operation Desert Storm, of course, the colors are based on the desert itself, and they're more historically accurate. And what it looks like in daytime would be, okay, let's look at this one here. The daytime color is a bit more bright. Now, once again, you know, if you're new to this, the graphics are nothing. The graphics of the 3D simulation are basically based on 1991 graphics. Okay, so the plane itself is this is the ADV F3 version of the Tornado, and you also had the different drones, or the friendly planes as well as the enemy planes themselves. Yeah, so let me just get back out of here. So basically, that's what the 3D world looks like for the Operation Desert Storm. Yeah, so the simulation itself is so huge, right? Because like every mission, when it comes to the mission section itself, the individual missions, again, you've got the 4 different war zones. So basically, that's like 80 missions altogether. And then for the campaign, you've had 2 major campaigns here. And each campaign, I've never really finished one campaign at all because they're just too big. Have you ever finished a flight simulator game? Most of us, we just buy a game and then maybe you play it through, but you don't have time to finish it. Maybe some of you persevere and then you finish it. That's great. But in my case, I never actually did finish any of the campaigns. But those who are really diehard gamers back in the day of the 1990s, we're talking about what, 26, 27 years ago? 1993. 29 years ago, yeah. Okay, I can't count. 1993 to 2000 would be 7 plus 22 would be 29. So it's been 29 years since this game is 29 years old. It's coming up to 30 years old. Yeah, so huge. It's huge. And then the command mode is where you had 3 situations or 3 different scenarios for the command mode. And basically, the command mode is where you actually had to do everything by yourself, including targeting, assigning, and basically this part of where the wargaming aspect of the flight simulator came in. Yeah, so it's not just the 3D graphics that you saw earlier on of me piloting the Tornado, but also the high level part of it, the wargaming aspect of it, which is quite unique for flight simulator of that time. So let me just go back into that mission again. Now we'll try a different mission right now. Let's try solo 6 AM JP233. Okay, we'll try this. This is a 6-plane attack, airfield attack, right? So I click on that. Now you can see how complex this is. If I click on tidy or fit, that's the entire flight path of all the planes in this particular mission. So I need to identify where is the starting point. Okay, you've only done the simulator missions in Tornado so far. Okay. Okay, that's okay. You also play Tornado. That's great. That's great. Yeah, it's so huge, right? And time, we never have enough time. But yeah, I mean, it takes years sometimes just to finish this stuff. If and life has got so many other priorities. So this is just something that's optional if you were to look at it. But you know, sometimes leisure is important, gives you time to rest and You've got the spectator view that just basically it's fixed in a space and then you just fly past it. That's the reverse view there, and you see reverse view F4, and basically you're fixed in space and the tornado just flies by you. And here the plane is I'm looking at a plane. The plane is going to fly past me. I hit F3, so that's a flyby view there. And in a flyby view I can actually increase the elevation, by hitting Control Z, Control 7 or 7 itself, up and down. Yeah, so there's some changes there that I made. This F5 is a drone view. You look at the bottom right hand corner, there's DR6, drone 6, drone view. So altogether there are, I think, 5 other drone GR1s in the same squadron. The other drones, this is not the pilot's, this is not the player's plane, that's a drone. How do I know that? Hold on a second. Yeah, when I hit 9, again this is something that I modded. The bottom status bar shows that this is a plane G. If I hit F1, plane A is where it's highlighted in blue. That's my tornado there. If you look at the bottom left hand corner here where the mouse is, where's my mouse? This one here, oh you can't see it. Okay, that brightly lit A, that's the plane of the pilot, myself. And then F5 you got drone G, H, I, and C, D, E, F, and G. These are all the drone my co-pilots, not co-pilots, what's the word for it? Squadron mates, yeah. And that one's the F3 fighter version of the tornado itself. Okay, so let's get back to here. Now, right now, I need to hit the 9 key because I need to know where I am. Where am I right now? Okay, I'm actually way over speed and I think I've lost track of the mission itself. So let me just reduce the speed and let's see where I am right now. Okay. Okay, hold on a second. Something's not right. Press escape. Let's just control the plane manually right now. So I'm off the autopilot. Okay, F7. Okay, let's get back to the autopilot. So you see right now in the the superimposed view of the route itself, the flight route itself, I'm right now that dot, and right now I'm headed towards waypoint C. I think it's because I changed the waypoint so many times just now. I wasn't really focused on the mission, just explaining the various aspects of the mods themselves that sort of messed up the mission, but never mind. Now we're back on track. Okay, that's SAM. The SAMs are pretty lethal actually, and basically when I hit the TAL key, right, I put in this early warning system. Basically it's the same display as what's found on the pilots. This you can see this display there on the one that looks the word SAM AWR. It's on the right of the cockpit, upper right. So that shows up the SAM threats in red, as well as the infrared missiles or the heat-seeking missiles. They will appear on the display that's just up on the center right edge of the screen. Okay, so a lot of time I can spend in the external view because I've actually put in a lot of the commands on the screen to superimpose them. And again, the SAMs are pretty irritating actually, or quite irritating because they can actually bring you down. And tornado when it first came out, and I'm out of fuel because I didn't wash my fuel. So fuel management is another thing that you need to watch out for. So when tornado first came out, if your plane was hit by a single SAM, it was KO, it was game over. But since then they modified the code so that you didn't go down with the first hit itself. Okay, so I thought, what, maybe I spent too much time talking about the mission, so let me try one more mission, and let's try to play it through, yeah, instead of talking about what I've done for it. So let's go for mission Warzone 1. Let's go for a simple mission. Let's go for the military base attack. 2 targets. One is the Yeah, one is the ammunition store, the second one is the rail bridge itself. So this time I'll try to concentrate on the simulation itself. So let's take off. Okay, hold on a second here. There we go, that's a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to walk myself through. Now I'm not a pilot, and I may know a little bit, but I don't know everything. So bear with me if I commit any howlers. Okay, so right now I'm looking at the airspeed. I'm going to hit close to 200. This plane's starting to shudder. So that is pretty well modeled in the game. So I need to get my gear up. My gear is already up. I'm going to hit the F7 key to go to autopilot. And I'm going to, I need to also change the position of my flaps and my slats and my variable fixed wing itself, the angle itself, because my speed is increasing. And my airspeed right now, I've targeted for what is it? I haven't done so yet. Let me hit F10. So the quiet speed 430, I'm going to change that to 420, because in the actual mission planner, the first speed itself, airspeed, was 420. But right now, if you look at my TEL time, I'm actually 4 seconds behind schedule. Right now, I'm 1 second early in the schedule. So for the code to do all this is simply fantastic, because a lot of science and maths has gone into this to get the autopilot time on arrival thing correct. So right now I'm going to speed up a little bit. Because I'm 4 seconds behind schedule, right? And I can't use up too much fuel, because if I burn too much fuel, then I'm going to run out of fuel and I'm going to crash. So if you look at the bottom right hand corner, you can see that bottom right corner here, that you can't see my mouse, sorry about that. Basically I have my fuel in kilograms, I think, in grams or whatever, kilograms, I don't know, kilograms I think it is. Okay, now in this game there's actually there's no time compression, but by using a particular TTC, time compression utility, you can actually speed up the game itself. Hey Tapasnew, hi, good to see you. Yeah, I'm showcasing a flight simulator called Tornado. It's a game, a flight simulator that came out 29 years ago, I'm sorry, and I recently acquired the source code back in 2017, and ever since 2017 I've made about nearly 200 different modifications to the assembly language source code itself. This isn't chess. Chess is, if I feel like it, I'll add chess at the end. Otherwise I'll have chess maybe in 2 days time. So this is more on a DOS retro game, and it's more on flight simulation as well as programming, yeah, because not only do I have the game, but I also have the source code to the game. I actually am able to modify the game as well. so you can't find blitz or bullet here. This is basically a 3D simulation of the Panavia Tornado. The game was written back in 1989 all the way until 1993 and released in 1993 by Digital Integration of the UK. Just checking my volume. Yeah, volume's okay, fine. Right, so I can also hit the map, and in the map itself actually yeah, how do I zoom in? Yeah, I can just zoom in and zoom out of the map. So this simulation has got so many different components to it, right? And let's hit back the F1 key. And the lovely thing about it back then in 1993 was that you had about 10,000 different objects. And here you can see the plane just flying past the city there. If I press the F7 key, you can see a top-down view looking down, right? So that's that view. So right now I need to keep track of where I am. If you look at the road itself, you can see that I'm heading towards waypoint E for elephant. And let's just see whether I can hit the commit key. Okay, I'm looking at my weapons management. I'm going to select the package X. Package X is going to start to blink right now. That's the retarded bombs, payload of 4 retarded bombs. And basically I've got that ready. Yeah, and okay, let's see whether I can change the view. Okay, this is the third view, sub view, sorry. This is the SAM view, surface to air missile view, looking towards my plane. So far nothing's been launched against my plane right now. I'm checking the early warning, I'm sorry, this is the missile threat view on my cockpit. I've not really explained some of these views, but anyway, the basic view is this one. I'm sorry, this is the basic view. And then you've got this that superimposes the either the multifunctioning display, or I can also put in the tab view itself. So I can have different TV tab views as well superimposed, and this is also part of the modded program. Okay, so anyway, let me just get back to the sorry, got a bit lost there. Okay, let me see, where am I right now? I'm heading towards the waypoint X, so about 127 seconds left. So in Tornado, they actually model a lot of stuff. Model the weapons delivery, especially the loft bombing. Like what was described in the book Tornado Down, the bestseller book Tornado Down. They actually planned a loft bomb attack on the Iraqi airfield, and that also is modeled in this flight simulator itself. So right now I'm 93 seconds away. So let's get back to the cockpit view and let's get back to the external view. For some reason I lost my display view. Alternate D should do it, but for some strange reason it's not there anymore. That's strange. Alternate M, sorry, there you go, alternate M. So let's go back to the autopilot view there, autopilot information. Right now 1 minute away from the target point. And how about my speed? I'm actually too slow. I need to be going faster. I should have gone at 550 knots. Now there's a missile launched towards me. I can see that. You can see the red dot there. So I need to launch the flares. But be careful because these missiles are quite lethal. And I'm going to go to the SAM view right now. And you should see a SAM lifting off pretty soon. But I'm about 23 seconds away from the target. And now I'm 20 seconds, and I'm going to hold down the spacebar right now because I'm very close to. You can see I'm holding down the spacebar. You can't see it's X. The spacebar is being held down. And I'm going to be releasing the weapons shortly. This is the retarded bomb. Okay, here you go. Let's pan down, and there you go. Okay, so that's the mission accomplished for that particular target there. So target waypoint X has been accomplished. And now I'm flying at the speed is 550 knots. I have plenty of that's the view of the target that's just been demolished. So basically I've got plenty of fuel left to continue the rest of the mission itself. Yeah. Okay. So in the original game there was no split screen at all. You even have a map as part of the split screen. This is some of the things that I modded in the game itself. Now you got I think I've got infrared missile launched towards me. I think there are 2 missiles launched towards me, so I'm going to release chaff and flare. This is pretty bad situation right now. And you see there's a missile headed towards me. That's the path of the missile flying towards my Tornado, and basically I got hit. So it's kind of tough actually, this game, and I'm down. So it's GG. Basically that's GG because it's game over. Yeah. So that's how tough the game is, and if I wasn't careful, if I didn't take advantage of the terrain, I would have been hit, and such is the case right now. Okay, so I think I'm going to end the Tornado stream right now here, and I want to thank any of the Tornado guys who dropped by, especially Zerger, Zerger, who dropped by early on, and some of my chess friends who dropped by who were thinking I was playing chess and were shocked to find that I'm playing a 1993 Flight Simulator game. Thank you for dropping by, because this is not just me playing a game, but it's actually a lot to do with coding and programming and logic skills. So writing or modifying something that's written about 30 years ago is no mean feat. But I'm just happy to be able to modify this game in about 196 different ways and to share it with the community, whoever the community is. And for those who played Digital Integrations Tornado back in the 1990s, I hope that if you come across this video on demand recording, I hope that it brings back some memories to you. And always remember that it just takes a bit of creativity and a lot of enthusiasm to make changes to things that you always wanted to make changes to. So I've had the privilege of working with the source code and of actually seeing the changes made being incorporated into the game long after the game has been released and long after the interest in the game has died. So I'm just happy to play my part. Frankie Kam during defense from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia here, and I'm gonna sign off this Tornado stream. So thank you for watching and thank you for dropping by. Yeah, okay, cheers everybody, good night. EXIT exit. See you folks.